Daniel! Daniel, what are you running for? Daniel, come back!
At the first sight of our cameras, he was off. This would have to be one of the greatest chases I've ever been involved with. Daniel McSweeney. His victims called him Daniel McSwindle.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Leaving me to take up the chase on foot with an iPhone.
Do you know how bad this looks, mate?
He was a financial planner in the very affluent suburb of Mossman in Sydney, and he'd been investing people's money in a very poor way. And we had dozens of people contacting us who were clients of Daniel McSweeney, who came to us and said, I've invested large sums of money with this guy and they've all gone. He's fleeced millions from these hard-working retiree super funds.
I hope, no one else has to go through this pain. You wake up, you feel sick.
And won't say a word on where it's gone.
What have you done with it? What have you done with the money?
Oh, I just feel so sick. I can't believe this could happen to me.
I've done a few of these kinds of stories where financial planners take people's life savings, and they are honestly one of the most heartbreaking stories you will ever encounter. Margaret has lost close to $1 million.
I feel sick. I feel like vomiting. It's just, you can't imagine the feeling that you get. Just don't know what I'm going to do.
The victims in these stories are hard-working Aussies who've hit retirement age. They've done all the hard work, they've saved their money well, and then they run into a shyster like Daniel McSweeney and their whole retirement money is gone.
You've been a single parent, you've worked hard.
Lynn has worked hard for the past 50 years, raising 2 sons on her own, and as she was nearing 70, had built her super up to $600,000. Now, it's all gone.
I mean, I paid medical, I paid tax, I paid everything straight down the line, and now I've got nothing.
Even swindling people he called his mates.
I thought, well, what a bit of a dog, I thought, well, why do that to me? He knew I didn't have much money.
At that point, his former clients were trying to find him simply to ask him where their money was. They didn't know the scale of what would unfold. They just wanted to know where their retirement money was. And so we'd been looking for him for weeks. We'd been trying to help these former clients to track him down. And eventually we got a tip-off. Daniel McSweeney has returned to Mossman. Then, when we finally tracked him down, he did this.
Daniel! Daniel, what are you running for? Daniel, come back!
So he had a 30 or 40 metre head start on me, which was pretty tricky. But again, this is one of those stories where you've heard the damage that's been caused, you've seen the pain that these people are going through, you've now got this guy in your sights, you've just got to catch him and try and get some answers.
What have you done with Lynn's money?
I'm working on resolving the issue.
She's lost her life savings.
I'm working on it now.
What have you done with it?
This was probably the longest ever chase I've had to do. I think we might have clocked up close to 2 kilometres through Mossman. When I finally caught him, we were both out of breath, me in particular, but he'd obviously knocked up too and given up trying to run. And his excuse at that point was, I'm working on it. I'm working on
resolving the issue. Take the cameras off.
I'm not taking any cameras off,
well,
mate.
I'm not talking to you.
I'm not taking any
Okay,
cameras
I
off at
refuse
all.
to comment.
He still kept trying to walk around in circles to try and avoid, giving us any answers. At the point that I'd caught up to him, it was only me and my iPhone, because when you have a chase like this, the poor old cameraman's lugging a big heavy camera on their shoulder. They can't keep up. So I had caught up with him, but then I also needed to find my cameraman to tell him where to go, because we were out in the back blocks of Mossman somewhere. So trying to juggle a phone call with the camera crew to tell them where you are, not even really sure where you are, and then they can catch up with you. And then once you've actually got your camera crew there, you can start to ask more and more questions. And his answer was just very constant at that point. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Why would you run like that? There's a hard-working woman who's lost $500,000 in her super, and it all comes back to you.
When you confront people like this who've just left a trail of destruction behind them in people's lives, it's a good feeling because you're trying to help these people.
Well, follow me all day if you like. I'm not talking.
Well, we will, because you're impossible to track down, and we finally caught you, and you ran like Usain Bolt to get away from us.
You scared me and I was quite honest.
Oh, we
I told
scared
I
you.
got out-
Hardly as scary as what Lynn and Margaret are now facing. Their entire life savings has disappeared.
Sometimes people come to a current affair where they actually don't have anywhere else to turn to. It hasn't been a case that could be tried by police or was too complicated or not big enough for police to want to try and prosecute. They come to a current affair because they see that's the only kind of justice they're going to get. And sometimes seeing them named and shamed on a current affair is the best justice that they will get out of their case. And if they get nothing else from someone who's destroyed their lives, they are always very appreciative that they got that.